He's a tactical genius, he's the one to see on VP4TV. He's wild and he's free. I'm on top, number here, you and me. With his cunning moves, he's rocking endlessly. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, legend from the chill. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, legend from the chill. Tactical genius with every play, making magic happen every single day. In the world of billiards, he knows the way, taking every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. From the corner bank to the perfect cut, he wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just a fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper. Every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. He wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just a fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper. ATG from Kilmarnock town, got your hustle down. Streams the pool games live, makes our day come alive. Early mornings on your grind, Tesco shift unwind, but you find the time to play, stream the virtual day. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. Virtual cue in your hand.
And it's a sucker scratch. Look at the line. Commentator's eye. Don't say I didn't warn you.
OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. Virtual cue in your hand, amazing shots you land. From your home to our screens, living out our pool dreams. Early riser, work all done, streams the games just for fun. We'll cheer for you every match. TG, you've got the magic touch. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there.
This for the 101. Absolutely sensational once again.
Virtual cue in your hand, amazing shots you land. From your home to our screens, living out our pool dreams. Just for fun, we'll cheer for you every match. TG, you've got the magic touch. OTG tactical genius, every game you bring us with your skill and your flair. We're glad you're always there.
That was fantastic.
Where's the cube?
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.
Right, good evening, folks. Welcome back to VP4TV, and we are here on Friday, the 17th of October 2025. We have a round 2 match that was scheduled sometime this afternoon, or maybe in the last hour or so, because I was at my dinner. And it's a round 2 match between Coldest Pillow, the finalist in the last big tournament we did, and he's up against Viking-210. We've got Wales versus Canada tonight, and the strong favourite will be Coldest Pillow. Viking-210 is a B-rated player, and he will do well to get anything off of Coldest Pillow. At least that's how it looks on paper. I just hope for Viking's sake that he shows a bit of common sense and a bit of the old using the old noggin technique, because you've got to know your limitations, as Clint says, and I hope for his sake that he does. We have only one other match on the schedule, which is the match between One Pocket Slim, round 3 match, and Cobra, which is going to happen on Sunday afternoon at I think it's 5 p.m. I still can't read that text. It's still not darker. It should be solid black text, that text. But anyway, I've told Steve and he won't do it. Slim will be streaming that on Sunday. And we're waiting on other matches to be scheduled. But I think part of the reason behind that is the fact that round 2 has got right up until October the 28th to get done. So these guys are hanging off and hanging off. One other bit of good news is I was talking about not having heard from Spudboy since he was asked me about Windows 11, and I got a message from him. So he's alive and his computer's still working, but I don't think he's went over to Windows 11 yet. And he plays Tommy in round 2. Of course, we also have Friday Night 9-Ball tonight. Hang on a minute. I've got a message from someone. Let me see what that is. Let me just get rid of that so I can read it in privacy, just in case it's anything important. In fact, no, tell a lie. I think it's a message from Spudboy. In fact, I'll read that out. What does it say? He says, I've actually seen that video before, the one that I sent him the link to, the guy that talks you through how to install Windows 11 on a non-compliant Windows 10 PC. He says, don't know why I didn't act on it at the time, but I am currently doing a backup. Then I will do what the video suggests to the letter. He says, thank you for your help. Mucho appreciated. So Spudboy is going to take the plunge. I think everybody that has, particularly in my situation, an older PC that's not, let's be honest, it's not been the most reliable thing in recent times. And there's no reason why I shouldn't have went to Windows 11. If the PC blows up tomorrow, it's not going to make a hell of a lot of difference, other than the fact that I can't stream. I'm going to do a quick check. This room may well be up. I'll be in a minute. I'm going to do a quick tab of Steve is there. Good afternoon, good evening to Steve.
I am here.
He is there. Right, so we'll get in the room. This, I'm afraid to say this, Steve, this might be all the makings of a bloodbath, but
I think it probably is going to be a bloodbath.
You could accuse me of being negative, but I think it might be. So I'm just hoping for Viking's sake. Well, that's Viking lagging in the left. He's not going to win that lag.
Well, I decided to pop in for a couple of reasons. One is to see how CP's doing, whether he does the right thing and tries to play the right way, especially in a match like this where you're a huge favorite. It's a little less risky to try the right play that you're not comfortable with. The other thing is, my philosophy's always been I try to play the same way all the time. So when I play somebody that has no chance of beating me in a match, I try to play safe on the shots I would against somebody that was a world champion. I don't change anything. I think it's really important to do that, is to try to get some consistency. And I'm interested to see if you're Coldest Pillow, you should be trying to win this 11-0. You should just try to drill the guy. And you know, I mean, it's almost a foregone conclusion he's going to win. But the question is he going to play really tight? Is he going to minimize Vikings' chances? And because if he does that, then it's like practicing for playing, you know, a more difficult match. The other reason I came in, I wanted to give some news on what I'm doing with the update. And this wasn't actually on the agenda, but I heard you talking about Spud Boy and his computer.
Yes.
And he says he's doing backup. So there's one real important thing about that you might want to convey to him. I don't know if I can't remember if you get an option when you're upgrading to Windows 11 to go back to Windows 10. It might allow you to do that, but regardless, if you're going to do your own backup, like if this fails, I want something I can run. The only way to do that for this type of upgrade is a disk image.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if you just said, well, I'm going to back up, you know, the program files and I'm going to back up, you know, no, that won't work because you're replacing the operating system. So the only way you can do it is what's called a disk image, where you basically take an image of your system disk. It's basically a special copy of the whole disk that you could restore it exactly the way it was. If you do any other kind of backup, chances are there's no way you could ever get back. And if he doesn't know that and he does a backup thinking, oh, I'm okay, and he just sort of does a more conventional backup, he's screwed if he needs to go back.
Right, see, before you do anything else, I'm nipping out for a second. I'm going to have to blow my nose. Back in a minute.
Well, we don't want to hear that. Well, Vikings got himself a chance there. I wasn't paying attention. I don't see what happened with, I didn't see what happened. That's not going to get it done. That was a little tricky situation to get on to 13. Unfortunately, if he can't get this 13 in the hole, it's probably a loss. It's going to be pretty hard to play safe here. Oh, I'm not sure how he's going to get that to go in the side pocket. If he does, it's going to be one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. I guess you could try to do it off the 5, but that would be very difficult. You'd have to hit it perfect at a high speed. Well, Viking got to the table, did a couple things that looked reasonable, but he didn't get on the last ball, and so I think that's a c'est la vie moment.
No, I never got a chance to look, but when I did check, Friday Night 9-ball had 2 players in it.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not getting as many, and I think part of the reason why is because you don't stream it anymore. But
well, it was as bad as this when I stopped streaming it. It was bad, and I mean tonight there's what
6.
1, 2. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping we can get some of these Vietnamese guys to actually buy, and not that they'd be up this time, but we've had a lot of Vietnamese in the lobby. Most of them as player gratis. Well, Vikings got a ball down. Yeah, let's see what he decides to do here. It's a difficult table, not one he's likely to run out. Wow, neither of them are that appealing. I'd probably favor the stripes a little, but it's really pretty crappy both ways.
You've got a solid ball tied up with the 9, so that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of rack that you're going to have to move balls to get out. Now, I like the first play, nice and controlled. I've never seen him play, so.
Well, I'm just going by how he's. I don't think I've actually watched him play, but he's been in tournaments. But I think he's certainly in it for the fun. But I
this
don't
is a
know that
great
he's of a
chance
level
here.
that's going to be
Punch this one into
competitive.
the 12 and have it bump the 6, something like that. But he needed to hold the cue ball for the 5. Now he's in trouble. And he did get the 6 clear, but he needed to kind of punch that so that the cue ball kind of did a stop shot on the 12. And he didn't hit it hard enough.
The 6 goes.
The 6 goes. Well, I will say this. He's making balls. He's hitting the things under control. He hasn't just been slamming them. And,
well,
you know, he's trying to play some kind of position. I mean, so far, this rack, this looks pretty good. Now, the 8 ball is either going to have to be banked or played in the side pocket. Well, actually, it'll go in the corner.
If he's going to have an angle where he can drop this 6 in and drop behind the 8 if he hits it soft.
The tight pockets got him there. That was in on the normal tournament pockets.
Oh, I never noticed he'd missed it.
Yeah, it just got the titty.
Well, we don't get many Canadians in these events. Not that there's an awful lot of Canadians around, I don't think, but Vikings won.
Well, you know, I mean, pool's pretty popular in Canada. I mean, it should be, though. What are you going to do up there? I mean, it's so dang cold in the wintertime. It's
they're not plating ice tables, ice cloths.
No,
I thought they were into ice hockey more than anything else.
I don't know if you realize this, but snooker was always very big in Canada. I don't think it is much as it used to be, but snooker was a big game in Canada. They played a lot. They played a lot of pool.
It would have been when Thorburn and Kirk Stevens were around in the 80s. It would have been popular. I've no doubt about that. Or it would have become popular because you had you had that other French-Canadian guy, him that fell out with Ronnie O'Sullivan because he was playing left-handed. What's his name? Robbie Do. He's another Canadian.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been some good Canadian players, and you know, when you're up there in the cold, what is there to do? You can drink, you can do bedroom sports, and you can play pool.
Well, you can beat yourself. You can beat yourself naked with a twig like the Swedes do.
Yeah,
and jump into a jacuzzi.
There's not a whole lot to do, so you know, it would figure pool would be popular in a place like that.
Right, Viking, you're going to need one good cut on this 6 ball, and you're going to have to hit it because you want to get back down this end of the table to see this 8 ball. And well, he's got the pot, but he hasn't listened to me.
Well, I think he was trying to hit it soft and play it up in the corner. And this is a common problem with players that are, you know, haven't got to maybe a little higher level, is that they're afraid to run the cue ball.
Yeah, well, he should have run it then.
Yeah, well, it was natural to run it, you know, 2 rails around. But, you know, he tried to hold it, and of course it didn't work out, but it was, at least he was thinking about it. You know, that's the thing. At least he was trying to come up with a shot on the 8.
Well, the angle again, what didn't kick in for him was the fact that he had too much angle in that 6 ball to try and hold it up that end of the table, and he had to let it open. But again, as you said, you know, players that have that, you know, higher level of game, they know the cue ball wants to run, and the only way it's going to be potted is into that corner it's going into in a minute, and you had to get down the table to have a shot at it.
Well, so far CP has given him plenty of chances.
Yeah, I mean, this is the other thing, as you mentioned, you play, it doesn't matter who you play the game and play the table as it is, no matter who you're playing. The problem for players in VP4 is they tend to get that wee bit looser because they don't reckon there's a lot coming back from the opponent, and it's probably a bad habit to get in if you start doing that. If you start taking liberties when you
Well,
should be playing
it
rock
definitely is.
solid.
I mean, the only thing that I would suggest doing in maybe a match like this is trying some things that you know are the right thing to do that you don't normally do, like you're
Yeah.
not comfortable with, like some safety shots or some tactical shots that because you always try to run out, you don't do them. So maybe they're
Well,
not that comfortable to do against a better player, but he could do them here, and it's not like you're doing something bad. You're still trying. You're trying to play the right shot.
Yeah, but the other thing also is it's probably good practice. Where's the cue ball going? I think he's okay as far as not scratching goes, but it's actually probably good practice for at some point in the tournament where you're maybe going to have to rely on playing the shot you probably didn't want to play, and you know, having more experience doing certain things. It's all about learning the game and progressing your game.
Yeah, I mean, CP runs out good. We all know that. He needs to, you know, get better at the strategy game and the safety game and
Matt,
the moving game.
Viking 11-2. Where the hell have you been, Matt? We're saying this is going to be a bit of a bloodbath, but you're giving him an 11-2 win. I will tell you, you're anything but positive. I mean, that's definitely a positive score.
I know where he's been. He's been out stocking up on the ganja because he's been smoking a lot of it if he thinks it's going to be 11-2 Viking. Comedy value, yeah. But I mean, CP is definitely one of the guys that has a chance to win this. But you know, he's the underdog against Cobra Alvin, mainly because of his you know, strategy game, his moving game, knowing when to move balls and when not to run out, knowing when to play safe. Because he's kind of a I'm just going for it every time kind of guy, and that's a hard way to win against really great players. Oh boy. I don't know. He may not have good focus now. That can really happen in these kind of matches where you're a big favorite. It can be hard to be focused. So table is still open.
Yeah, the way this has ended up, it's ended up uglier than what it was.
Yeah, table's open. You definitely want to take the stripes. I mean the stripes, the solids, the other ones. The other stripes. The stripes that don't have a stripe on them.
I'm working away from home until November, and I refuse. You mean you're in prison? Let's be honest. I mean, is that when you get out? You get out mid-November? In fact, I'm surprised they give you laptops in the prison.
Well, I can understand that. It can, you know, especially when you got your game just tuned as well as Matt does to play on. Yeah. So there's an example of coming up short. So he's hitting the ball with low right, and he came up short. What I mean by that is he didn't carry the draw all the way to the object ball. And when you come up short and you're putting English on it, that's going to turn the cue ball. And that's why that ended up getting overcut. His aim was perfect. He just didn't hit the cue ball hard enough. Unless you're purposely trying to let the cue ball turn over, you never want that to happen when you're hitting it with draw.
Hemo Hempstead.
And if you are doing that when you're hitting with draw, you're playing what's known as a kill shot. Okay, so he could play this off the 11 ball or the 15 ball. The 15 ball is probably better. He could play the 10 off the 15. Oh, he's shooting solid, so I'm looking at the wrong ones.
Yeah,
never mind.
Pay attention, Steve. It's early. I've got every excuse because every minute goes by, it's getting later for me, and the brain starts to shut down.
I wanted to say something about the beta. So I did get some more feedback. I haven't gotten a lot, but I got a little more feedback. I'm not going to say who because I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want me to say who.
Tell us who. I'll find out.
I already said that you gave feedback, but you know, you posted a video, so I knew you didn't care. But anyhow, the feedback was again on the font that they didn't like the font, and it wasn't just a size thing. So I made a decision. I'm going to make it so that you can set different fonts and do the work to do that, because I think too many people are going to have a problem with that condensed font.
Well, I went to the bloody bother of finding this Oswald font to put it into my XSplit. Now you say you're going to change it.
Well, here's the good news: is I'm going to put the fonts in the game. They're all free fonts. They're all free type free fonts.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to put those things in to the game, like not encoded into anything. They'll just be font files. So you'll be able to grab whatever font file you want from Virtual Pool and put it into XSplit.
Let me just query that. Are you going to do it engineer style, where only you understand what the hell you're doing, or are you going to make it numpty proof so that it's easy enough to put the fonts in?
How did you get the font for this one, for the Oswald?
Well,
what did you do to put it in?
I did it very simple. There's a thing called Google, Steve. I don't know whether you've ever heard of it, but what I did was I put fonts for Windows, and lo and behold, there's a whole pile of sites came up. And also the Copilot thing was handy because it told me what the file style is. It's a TT something file at the end of it, or whatever the hell it is.
It's a TTF.
Yeah,
it's a true type font.
So me being an umpty, I absorbed that information, and I thought, all right, I've opened that folder that I downloaded with Copilot, and I saw there were about 6 different font styles in Copilot, and in Windows in the settings thing, or the appearance thing, or whatever it is. I can't remember, but that's where you go to, and I just dragged them all into it, and that was it.
Okay, so with true type fonts, the best place to get them is Google Fonts. They're free.
That might be where I actually got them.
And once you have them, I think with Windows, you can just double click on the font file and it'll ask if you want to install it, or you can right click on it and install it. They're trivial to install.
Yeah, it just says drag them into the window, and that's what I did.
And something else that you can do, because I'm going to have a fonts directory, is you could put other fonts that you want into Virtual Pool, because it's going to read all the fonts in the font directory. So you'll be able to add fonts to Virtual Pool also.
Cool. So can we have Wingding, Steve? That's a great font. Everybody will understand Stubbs chat then.
as long as it's a true type font. Not that I don't support other ones, but you really want a true type font, a TTF file, and that's what you can get off of Google. You could even have a purchased one. So some fonts you have to purchase.
Listen, there's nobody buying any font, Steve. Anything that we're doing is free.
Okay, I'm just saying that because you can do whatever you want. Now I've got Verdana, but I think the Verdana that I've got in is not a purchase one where it has the whole font. So that's what's in there now, and I might have purchased it, but I didn't purchase like the whole
setup of them. The half a dozen different versions of it.
All the code pages, which you need for foreign translations. All the fonts that I'll be shipping with the product will have the full set, so that you can do whatever as far as the languages.
So what about Mandarin Chinese, Steve?
Well, I mean, I can support that. Right now, there's a little issue in that I'm only pulling in the code pages that cover basically all the Latin stuff, which is most of the European languages. Right. And I have a couple things for Vietnamese I pulled in. So you wouldn't be able to, for starters, I have to put a translation in for Mandarin, which I don't have. But even if I did, I'm not set up with pulling the right font pages. Well, even if they're in the font, I'm not pulling them. And that's something else that has to be done. And I kind of doubt I'm going to do that right now.
What about Russian Cyrillic?
No, it's just going to be the Latin code pages, support for Vietnamese. I'd like to do Tagalog too, but I don't know if I'm going to.
You know that 3D billiard net, that Russian pool game that's online. It's been around
Uh-huh.
for years. It has well, they keep saying they're doing English translation, but the one interesting thing about them is that it's a Russian. Well, I presume it's a Russian game because it's all Russians that play it. But any time I've looked in their lobby, there's over 100 odd playing, and they're all chanting Russian Cyrillic. You want to try and you want to do everything to try and encourage folk to get here, and I think Mandarin Chinese. How
Well-
many million Chinese
Well,
are there?
I mean, that's why I'm doing translations, but it takes time to do it. It's been a process just to get to the point where I had the 64-bit and I had the translations and the fonts and I don't know how good the translations are. I mean, Tommy comes in and says the German one's shit. Well, what does that mean? Is it really that bad? Or I'll tell you something about Germans. Germans are the pickiest people in the world. So it could be 95% right and 5% bad. And
Well,
Tommy
that's why I
says like
said.
shit. So
That's why I said if you see Boris in the lobby, grab a hold of him and ask Boris. And
Yeah.
the thing is, he's not around that much. He was in the other night there, I think. But if you ever see him, get a hold of him.
yeah, I mean, user feedback is very difficult to interpret. Let's put it that way. It's not always like so straightforward.
Well, if all the feedback you get is the German translation shit, it doesn't give you much of a clue, does it? That you can't really work in much when somebody tells you that.
Here's what the problem with doing the translation is. I'm using ChatGTP, and I'm using ChatGTP to also check the quality of it and to refine it, which is kind of has some pitfalls in that approach. I know the translation is not going to be perfect. I just want it to be good enough that somebody understands what a label on a button means. Somebody understands the interface well enough to use it. I'm not expecting it to be perfect, and it's a huge problem in trying to determine the quality of the translation, because other than having somebody that speaks that language do it, that can actually talk to you like somebody that is a logical, rational person. I mean, really, it's a matter of just saying, well, okay, this label, this label, this label. Maybe there's 10 labels that are really bad, and I change them. I mean, I doubt the whole translation is total shit. I really do. But, we've done this on the phone. We've got Vietnamese. I think we've done Vietnamese. I think we did Spanish. And we haven't had a lot of terrible feedback about it.
Matt, are you still there, Matt? Matt's asking what this is about. Well, first of all, Matt,
thing is fonts and 64-bit and language translations.
Yeah, the one question I would say is why is it taking us 12 years to get to language translation, Steve? In fact, longer than 12 years.
Well, because here's the thing about this game. I made the decision a long time ago. We really didn't need the translations because this game isn't very wordy. There's not, it's not like a lot of games where you just absolutely couldn't play it without the translations, and didn't think it would have a huge impact on sales. Well, that kind of changed when we started getting a lot of Vietnamese users, and so it started on the phones, and when we started doing it, it's like, okay, well, maybe we should do it for everything. So it was worth spending the time to develop a procedure to do translations, because the way we used to do them was send them out to someplace to translate. And it's not particularly expensive to do that, but the problem is that isn't a solution, because you have to continuously then send them out every time you change things, and it's like you continue to do development and stuff, and then it's better if you have a way. So we have an automated way to do translations. I mean, I spent a whole crap load of time writing Python scripts to run ChatGPT to do translations, where I can just have it do it and take a list of languages and crank out all the files. So it's a bunch of things. Part of it was being able to develop an automated procedure. Part of it was that we're getting a lot more foreign users on the phone, and part of it was honestly was being able to use AI to program. Because I probably spent 3 days working on translations, which sounds like a lot, but if I was doing it without the AI, that would have been 3 weeks. So um, a lot of things are becoming more possible for me to do, that I'm more motivated to do them because of the AI. So is that a good enough explanation of why it's taken 12 years?
Well, I'll have to accept it, won't I?
Well, I mean, that's really the honest truth. It's a number of factors, and I think now that we have a way of doing them, we're going to support a lot more languages. I'm planning on doing Spanish for sure, probably Italian, Portuguese. Brazil's starting to become a hotbed for games now.
Wouldn't it be great, Steve, if some Spanish guy turns up in the lobby and he's typing in some sort of pidgin English and we don't understand him? Wouldn't it be good if you could actually use the lobby chat to actually translate my English into Spanish, a bit like Google Translate in the lobby chat?
It's possible to do that sort of stuff. I'm not sure what the costs are involved. I mean, you can run
Vietnamese.
You can run Chat GPT through a API. I mean, that's what I do now with Python scripts. So it would be possible to do it. Use something like Chat GPT. Google may offer translations too, although their translator is maybe not quite as good. But I don't know. That's kind of maybe a wish list thing. It is possible to do it. I know that. I just don't know if it's worth doing at this point.
I thought you said play
the
there,
Vietnamese actually pay, yeah, but it's a low percentage. The Vietnamese people don't have a lot of money. $10 for them is probably like $100 to you.
Right. So, I mean, how do we encourage these players to give? I mean, some of them are quite happy playing with just the one table and one version of the pool game, and they're happy. Yeah. But how do we encourage them?
Part of it is, doing the translations. I'm hoping that encourages more people because, the thing is when you're talking about Europe, okay, when I said that, oh, well, this game doesn't need a lot of translation because it's not a game that you need to understand it. It's, pretty straightforward and stuff. But I was also, when I'm thinking that at that time, it was like when most of our users were in the United States and Europe. There's a huge difference between people in Europe and Vietnamese, because the people in Europe, a lot of them do speak English or understand basic things, and they're going to understand some of those things like labels on the UI enough. Whereas the Vietnamese, obviously they can figure out how to play it. There's a lot of them playing, but they don't have any basis for English, most of them. So it's a different story. And the same thing with the Chinese. Although I will say, if you're college educated in Chinese now, you learn English.
English, yeah. In fact, there's probably a lot of Chinese speak English better than I do.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like in this country, almost nobody learns to speak Chinese. And if you were smart, you would. I'll tell you right now, I went to Beijing in 2008. And I was thinking, man, if I was 25 years old, I'd be learning Chinese. I'd probably come to China. The opportunity there is tremendous. But Americans are very self-centered. Americans tend to think that the world centers around the United States. And, you guys all know that. Most of you are in Europe.
Donald Trump thinks that.
Well, no, most Americans are more kind of, when you're in Europe and you've got all these countries and they're close together and you got all these different cultures and you're around a lot of other people like that, you're more aware of there's a lot more going on than besides us. And in the United States, especially in places where there's not a lot of ethnic diversity, people tend to think this is the center of the world.
Well,
And
United States is like 50 different countries. Let's be honest. Every state's got all its rules and laws. I mean, it's like 50 foreign countries all knitted together, so it is.
It is in some sense. I mean, from a point of how the government's run, and also culturally, there's quite a bit of difference. But yeah, I mean, and U.S. isn't the only country like that. I mean, I've been around people, like Koreans, for example, and they would tend to think much more of any kind of Korean product than an American one, just because, I don't know, that was kind of just their attitude. Maybe that's not the prevailing attitude anymore. It was with some of the Koreans I knew when I was younger. So I don't know, I mean, I just feel like we're at a point where we need the translations. It's going to help the game. I don't know if you guys realize a lot of people from Brazil are playing this game now. When I look at, because I can go look up, how many people from every country there are. And Brazil's I think third behind the US and the UK.
Well, the only Brazilian I know is Carlos Lindo, and he's not exactly the most friendly person I've ever met.
You know what? And I thought that too, except when I went and started looking and seeing, I'm like, wow, there's way more Brazilians than I thought. Maybe they don't announce they're from Brazil. Maybe you can't tell by their names. Look at this. Watch out.
Now, how did Viking end up getting 2 racks on the board, by the way? Well done to him.
Because Coldest Pillow is not taking this seriously. I mean, he's not doing what he said he should do. I mean, I know it's stuff.
Welcome to Cobra. I read that, Bedhead. I mean, I have a hard time understanding you. I need translation in the stream. Well,
but there's more.
Watch and learn.
I can actually tell you what the percentage is. I got these wonderful things I did.
There's about 5 Scots who regularly appear in VP4. That I know. And I'm 3 of them.
Yeah, now I'm not saying these are regular players. I'm just saying this is well, I have various things I can look at. I can look at paid versus non-paid, and I got all this. I got all the goodies. Let's see, views. Customer by country. Okay, so right now, just people playing. Now, I'm not saying paid, just playing. It's United States first, Vietnam second, United Kingdom third, Brazil fourth, and Germany fifth, and Canada sixth, and Philippines seventh. Then actually goes Argentina, then China, then Indonesia. All right, so as far as who has paid, it goes United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, China, Australia, Brazil. So Brazil is still some people paying. There's a lot more people playing for free. And, again, it's like a lot of this is how much money do people make and what are they willing to spend? I mean, I think a lot of the players from Brazil are player gratis because they don't, have much money and they don't want to pay.
Well, the other thing could be their payment options. You know what I mean?
Well,
credit card and PayPal.
And I've thought about changing that because I can go to something that takes everything, cryptocurrency, discover points, who knows? I mean, there are ways of doing it that I think might help that, and I'm considering doing that.
Well, let me give you an example, Stephen, how PayPal suited me. I ordered a pizza 2 or 3 weeks ago from Domino's, and I thought I'll just pay it with PayPal tonight. I couldn't be bothered hunting out my credit card. And lo and behold, I had the option of 3 months to pay for my pizza on PayPal. I thought, I'll take that. That's fine.
Yeah, except that by the
You
time
get-
you get done paying the interest, you just bought 3 pizzas.
No, it's not. No, it's 3 months interest free. So I took it up.
Well, that's introductory offer. They're not
Well,
going to do that all the time.
You want to think about all the options.
But you know, it's good you brought that up, because I've considered doing that, and I think that could be a key to getting more of these players that are in these other countries alternate forms of payment.
Well,
it's just again, it's you know, it's a scary thing, because it's not a scary thing, it's a time thing, because what ends up happening is that I've got an integration with a PayPal gateway, which is not even the normal PayPal. It's, you know, an API specific gateway, and I'm going to have to do that with something else. It's not like having a WordPress site where you just connect it to your shopping cart and everything just works. It's like writing a bunch of code, and so, you know, the question is, what am I going to work on? And maybe that's a good thing to work on. Obviously, if it brings in more revenue, it would be. There's a little bit of risk to that, because I don't know how many of these people that are not paying would pay if I did it.
Well, Viking stated the obvious, as many players will do in this tournament. He says the break is killing him. All these dry breaks.
Well, you know, I mean, a break is something you want to practice. You know, which ball to hit, what kind of spin to put on a cue ball, how hard to hit it. I mean, it's, you know, pros struggle with it. I was watching Reyes Cup today. Okay, Coldest was breaking unbelievable. I mean, it was like he wasn't just making balls; he was making 2 or 3 balls. Once he made 4, and they're playing out of the break box with a 9 ball on the spot, and nobody else was breaking like that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys were having trouble getting a ball down. So it's like that in real life too. I mean, a break's really the most important part of the game when you get into higher level competition.
Well, Bedhead, I would never have had PayPal, and I don't know how long I've had it now. I've had it a long time. The only reason I got PayPal is when Simon was doing his tournament system for the VP4 for VP3, and he was asking for some funds to pay for the site, and I thought, well, how do I do it? And I think he mentioned PayPal, so I looked into it, and I opened up a PayPal account. I've had one ever since. Very handy. I've never had a problem with it.
PayPal's good. Venmo's okay. Venmo's owned by PayPal. The only thing I don't like about Venmo is the fees are pretty high on Venmo. But yeah, I'm going to tell you, you're right, Who. I should be taking other forms of payment.
Well, exactly, because I think on this Brazilian site that I use for maps for Eurotruck, there's all sorts of bloody weird payments methods that I've never heard of that obviously work in Brazil. And there are plenty of people over there using them. So it's a more localized thing that they're probably more familiar with, maybe other than PayPal.
I have looked at it, and if I can have ChatGPT help me write the PHP, that would make it faster, because the less code I have to write, the better.
Right, well, I think we're getting to the end of this match here, unless Viking can find a way out here.
Well, I mean, you should be able to get out of there. Here, you kind of got to decide where you're going to go, which side of the 7.
Well, he wants to pot the 12, though.
What you didn't want to do is hit the 7, and what you really didn't want to do is miss the 12.
Yeah. Well, this is 41 minutes old, this match, and I would suggest it's pretty much over if he's going to take that 3 ball and open up.
Yeah, he'll be out here. I mean, this is
Well, at least he got 2 racks. I'm glad that he got a couple of racks. And he wasn't completely humiliated.
Interesting enough, he's got the POWMIAQ, and he's Welsh. I mean, that's a very American thing.
I've got it as well, Steve, but you gave me it.
I
would never.
Yeah.
I would never have bought that.
It's
Look at that
it's a very
price.
American thing. I mean, I just a little surprised a Welshman's got it, but it's a cool thing. Now that Q was Joey Aguizar. Aguizar, I think is how you say his name. He's a pool player. He's on AZ Billiards a lot. A cool guy. That was his personal cue that I copied for the game. He actually has this cue in real life.
Well, there we go, folks. Short and sweet, painless, relatively, for Coldest Pillow.
It wasn't a donut, so that was good. He at least got a couple games, and you got to give him kudos for coming in here and playing in this. I mean, a lot of guys are afraid to come in and play, but you know what? This is a great experience for players at that level to come in and play and see what it's like against tough competition and playing a tournament like this. I mean, it's the greatest thing for those.
I'm looking at Coldest Pillow's next opponent, who's either going to be Balls or River City. I'm going to hedge my bets and say River City should come through that. And he'll certainly be a tougher proposition. But Coldest Pillow, regardless of who gets through, Coldest Pillow should still be too strong. He should be winning more racks than whoever he's going to play. So it's looking a fairly good ride, other than the fact that he had to take down Spectre Dawn in that first match. I mean, he's going okay, but he's going to be lining up either with Slim or Cobra should he come through that next match. So it's going to step right up as the tournament goes on, and all of these other matches still to go.
That should be a good match, Slim and Cobra.
Yep, that'll be what did I say again? 5 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. Slim will be streaming it.
We got RPP and Liquid. That should be an interesting match.
Yeah, well, Stubbs again. I mean, with the greatest respect to Liquid, I played Cowboy with him this morning, and again, if he gets any more than 2 racks off a Stubb, he'll be doing well. Stubb should be far too strong, but I think the problem with Stubb is Stubb will be taking liberties regardless who he's playing at the end of the day. So there will be opportunities for Liquid, but it won't be good enough to take that many of them to cause Stubb trouble. That's the problem a lot of these players have. But Stubb's going to eventually run into trouble.
Oh yeah, he's going to run into somebody that he can't do bullshit with and get away with it.
That somebody is actually residing in Sweden, probably. No disrespect to Rabi. And the guy residing in Sweden will take care of Stubb in round 4. I think round 3, sorry. Stubb's always got a chance, Stubb, if he's sensible.
Well, yeah, but that's
for the most part. But
sensible. Come on, that's like
when things don't start going so well from, then he gets completely incomprehensible, and you got to scratch your head at the stuff he does. But he'll do well to get a good result against Albi, and of course we have to still see Albi and a lot of others getting off the mark.
Yeah,
it seems an awful long time for this round. This round 3, another 10 days. What, the 28th of? In fact, it's 10 days tomorrow, isn't it?
The first 2 rounds. So the thing is in the winners round, it's 10 days. The losers round is 5. So when we have a lot of winners matches like this, and then the second round's another 10. So right off the bat, all these guys with buys, they got 20 days before they have a deadline, and looking at the proposals going out, most of them have just not sent proposals, which I don't get. It's like, why not go play your match? But they're just taking their time to send proposals and deciding to play. I mean, let's see. I'll check right now. Let's see if we got anything new. We do have a few. Okay, so there's a proposal from Spud Boy to Tommy. Robbie's proposed a match to Albie. Larry's proposed a match. So yeah, okay, we're starting to get some proposals. So I think you'll perhaps see some other matches this weekend besides Slims. I think there's a chance of it.
Well, you definitely need revenge, Coldest Pillow, and no better challenge than taking Cobra down if you get a shot at him again.
Let's see. So Spudboy proposed for Sunday. Robbie proposed for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Larry proposed for Saturday and Sunday. So there's a good chance you're going to get something this weekend, Hugh.
Oh, you're going to see the Pope, Coldest Pillow. Well, if you get his blessing, that'll probably help you in the tournament. he's going to Italy. Drop in and see him.
Well, eat some good Italian food. Have a good time there.
Charlie's going to see the Pope. They're going to pray together. That'll shock a lot of the blue nose royalists in this country having the king going to see the Catholic Pope for the first time in about 400 years. I mean, that's going to be breaking all the rules. That's to come next week, I think, or whenever it is. The two of them are going over to see him. I'm in this room watching Slim and Larry, so Slim no doubt is streaming this at the moment. It won't have long to go because I think this is to get to the hot seat, and it's 3-3 at the moment in that match.
Player 2's getting the last two. Larry's getting the last two, which isn't much.
Thanks.
I'll tell you, when I came out with this kind of thing of doing the ball handicapping, players were all like, "Oh, that's too much weight. Oh, that." And it's amazing how little the players understood what a ball handicap means and the value of it. And like among good players, getting a 7 ball is it's like nothing. It's like,
yeah, I think
in a race to 7, getting a 7 ball might be one game, maybe. It's like
it took a long time for it to sink in, but they understand now how the system works and what you do to try and protect the fact that you're up against a hefty handicap. You don't do numpty stuff. Simple as that.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it was that they just wanted to slam balls around and get away with it, and you can't when you're giving up ball weights, and it's understanding how to play pool the right way. But the thing is that's the same way you would want to play with a guy that your level, that there's no ball weight being given out to. You want to play the same way with the ball weight because you don't want to give a guy chances at the table. That's the bottom line. So that's how you need to play, whether you're playing a guy your speed or playing a guy that you're giving a big handicap to.
Larry's chipping in, Steve. It was too much before you fixed it.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't, Larry. And if you go look at something like Fargo rate and you look at the handicaps that you're supposed to give for Fargo rate, you're going to be surprised at how huge they are when you get much of a point difference.
I don't like the font on the beta. Well, you weren't. You were probably still in your match, Coldest Pillow, but Steve is going to be messing about with the font so that you can mess about with the fonts yourself and choose your own one.
I'm going to supply more fonts. You're going to be able to change them, and you'll even be able to put your own fonts in. So it's going to be different. Enough people have mentioned issues with the font that I'm going to spend some time and make it better.
I think you should just personally lock it for Stubb on his account that everything he types is in wingdings. That way he doesn't know what he's talking about and we don't have to read it.
I have a better idea. I'm going to remove I'm going to remove the B and the S from his font.
Save his keyboard. Right, well, it was short and sweet tonight, folks, unless Steve's got anything else to divulge about VP5. As Matt seems to think.
I'm going to get out of here right now before I get one of those kind of questions.
Yeah, I'm going to head off as well. So,
all right, thanks for the stream, Hugh.
Yeah, Polish font, that'll be good. Right, yep. I don't know when the next match will be that I'm doing, but anything could appear. But in the meantime, join Slim on Sunday as... who the hell's he playing again? I've totally forgotten.
He's playing Cobra.
Cobra, aye. Well, join that match, 5 p.m. British Summer Time, and it will be noon Eastern, 9 AM Pacific if you want to get up early enough to watch it. And if you can't, it'll be on his channel for a week, and then it gets deleted. Right, I'm off.
Yep,
Thanks to
Me
Steve.
too. Good night,
I
guys.
will bid you good night and head over and see what's left of Friday Night 9 Ball. Join Slim's stream. I'm going to nip in have a quick look and then go and get a coffee. And we'll see you again very soon, folks. Take care. See you later.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.